What's going on, everybody? My name is Tamar Turner, and I'm the host of the Down to Business podcast, where the mission is to really provide exposure to businesses, entrepreneurs, and artists all around the world in their respective crafts. And we do so through audio and visual interviews where we come on and we talk about all things from getting into the business to most memorable moments to even some advice that you may give for other business owners and entrepreneurs out there. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, we'd love to have you on for an interview. Please be sure to reach out via any social media platform and we'll definitely get back to you. But until then, enjoy this episode. And I would like to welcome everybody back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. And as I always start, I think this might even be my slogan moving forward. I'm really just excited to be sitting down with yet again another business owner, yet again another woman business owner at that. So I'm just always excited just to hear from another business, especially when it's just something that I've never really heard of before, never really seen. So I can't wait for her to kind of tell you guys what she does. So Brionna, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I can never complain. So, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself? By the
hmm
way, guys, how I kind of came across Brianna was actually through ECU, just some mutual connections. I saw some followers that we had actually posting her page and some of the pieces that she was selling and some of the things that she made herself. And so I eventually followed her page, reached out to her, and then she agreed to do the interview. So,
hmm
yeah, Brianna, I'm sorry to kind of cut you off a little
No,
bit.
you're
Yeah, can
fine.
you
You're
just
fine.
just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, well, first, I just want to thank you for having me. I was really excited when you reached out to me. I was like, wow, this is so great. Somebody's interested in my journey. So, yeah, a little about myself. My name is Brianna. I go by Bree. I'm a first generation college student. It's my senior year here at ECU. I'm majoring in biology. I do want to be an aspiring pediatrician. And I do have a small sewing business where I handmade clothes. I mostly make loungewear, comfy things that you could sit around the house and lounge in. I really do like being like comfy and cute. So that's like really what I like to hand make. And I'm also in the process of starting an online boutique where I'll be having handmade items and other goodies and clothes like purses and accessories and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right, all right. So, online sewing business. So, it's actually called the Sew Doctor for everybody out there who is
hmm
wondering. So, can I just ask first and foremost, where did the interest in sewing come from, and then what eventually led you to become a business?
Right. So in seventh grade, actually, I was taking like this home ec class where, like, we learned how to sew, cook. We had like the little flower babies, stuff like that. And like, I really just love sewing. I don't really know. It's just something that was just fun for me to do. In the meantime, up until college, I didn't really have a big interest in it. I wasn't really pursuing it. But back in March, I believe, when quarantine, like when COVID first hit, all that stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, like I got laid off from my job. I was like, I'm gonna have to find something to do with my time. So I just got back into like old things that I like doing, drawing, painting, sewing, and I was like binge watching YouTube videos, like OD, like watching clothing hauls, stuff like that. And I had came across this one page, this one YouTube channel. Her name's Kumani, and she like makes clothes. And I was like, wow, this is something I would really like to do. So what I did was I was like, I'm just gonna get a sewing machine and see where that takes me. And I got my sewing machine probably a couple weeks later, and I ordered all the supplies, everything from Amazon. And then I just started basically recreating looks from YouTube, seeing how they made stuff and then doing it myself. And I caught on pretty quickly. Like I said, I've known how to like hand sew and stuff like that since seventh grade. We did use a sewing machine, but this is the first time I actually really made bigger pieces like clothes. And yeah, that's where I started. I just started cutting up like random things, anything I could find, like blankets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, anything, like just to flip anything into something that I liked. And so that's where I started during quarantine, and I started like selling little things here and there, but I didn't really get into like taking myself seriously and becoming an actual business until recently. I want to say maybe around August or so. I had took a little break from sewing, and then I just hopped right back into it. I was like, I really miss this. Like, I haven't been doing this in a while, so I started doing that, and that's where the Sew Doctor came from.
I like it, and it's kind of like that answer was almost right on time, and it almost makes it seem like these episodes seem to follow one another. I actually spoke on my last episode just about hobbies and just about how the quarantine can sometimes bring that out of you, and
Mhm.
just in hearing what you just said about how once you said, like you said, you got laid off. I'm definitely sorry to hear that, but
Mhm.
how you started to reevaluate and really just look at your hobbies and things you like to do, things you missed. Then look what came about it, sewing. So,
Mhm.
and now look where you are. Like you said, you even kind of took a break, fell off from it, but still kind of found your way back to it. So that's how you know it's really something that you love and really something that you have a passion for. So
Right.
something really interesting that you said to me too is how at first you were just taking anything that you could find. So what was something that you really kind of took on? What was, would you say, one of the most creative things that you made kind of starting early off?
I'll always say like my first big project is what that really stuck with me. It was like the set I had made. It was like some shorts, some lounge shorts, and like sweatshirt, like a throwover. And like I had to use like my favorite blanket. I was like, this blanket is so warm. This blanket is so cute. Like I could probably make something from this. So that's what I did. I made some shorts and I made throwover with it, and like I applied a zipper to it. I was so excited about that zipper. Like that was, I don't know why, but I just felt like, okay, I can do zippers now. This is one step further to becoming, better at sewing when you start adding zippers, pockets, buttons, stuff like that. And so I would say that's probably like one of my biggest ones. And that one, it took me literally like all day. Like I had roommates at the time. So I would like, and we lived in a loft. So I would be upstairs in the loft area, like literally fabric everywhere, blanket everywhere, like cutting up pieces, stuff like that. But that was my first really big project and the one that has a very special place in my heart because I don't know, it's just the first thing I made that I really felt like, okay, this helped me kind of believe in myself a little bit like, okay, I can do this. Like, this isn't bad. I really do enjoy making it, even though it took me all day. So, yeah.
It's always good to hear that, like you said, knowing that you can own something, take pride in something, and
Hmm.
then even when you gift it to someone else, or let's just say it's for someone else, or later on down the line when it comes to a business or just serving other people, it even makes you feel that much better. So just in hearing about that and in hearing about some of the things that you do moving forward, something that I'm very curious about is with you now being a business, with how sewing works,
Hmm.
how do you kind of conduct your business? Is this something where people kind of come to you, specifically women, and maybe ask for specific pieces or for things to be sewn? Is this something where you may wake up one day, get a specific fabric, and then make pieces on your own just in different sizes and then sell that way? Or is
Hmm.
it a combination of both?
So right now, what I have, what I'm doing is I'm just making stuff from my own ideas, from like different sizes, different materials that I have. I'm just like, oh, this would be cute if I do this, and then I make that, and then I post it on my page if anybody wants to buy it. What I'm trying to work up to once I do get my website up and running, and once the launch date is set and I have all that figured out, I want to start taking custom orders, like being able to not only make my designs come to life, but make others come to life as well. It's a very time consuming process. So in the meantime, I still want to get my name out there, get the word out there. So that's why I still make stuff from my own head, my own designs. But eventually I do want to work up to where I'm taking custom orders and, making things for other people.
I like that. So time consuming, you definitely said it best. So with
Hmm.
that, I know quarantine now has probably allotted you a little bit more time, but is there like at one point when you were kind of still in, well, even now with being still in school, whether it be online or whatever, but still just having other responsibilities, still just having a life,
Hmm.
and still just having to set time aside to sew and make orders and different things like that. How do you create that balance for yourself?
Uh, I would like to paint a picture like I have everything figured out, but I don't. Like, it can be overwhelming at times. It's hard, especially with being a bio major and it's my senior year. So I'm really like, these are the classes I need to pass to graduate. It's hard to balance between school and sewing because like I said, sewing is time consuming. Like it seems like it's quick, but really the hardest part is measuring everything. Once everything's measured, then I could just go ahead and sew everything up fairly quickly. But for the most part, I try to designate certain days where, okay, this day I'm going to sew, this day I'm going to do my schoolwork, or I'll be like, I'll sew from 12 to like 5, and I'll do schoolwork from like 6 to like 8, stuff like that. And of course, it's very tricky because it's hard to find that balance. Like I said, it can get overwhelming sometimes. But I know speaking to my dad and speaking to my family and friends, like whenever I get stressed out, I'll talk to them and they'll calm me down, like, give me words of encouragement. Like they really are behind me 100% of the way. And I'm just so grateful that I have people like that in my life to lean on because without them, I probably would have like just been going crazy. So they really been there for me through everything, through my crying, my rants, my stressfulness, like all that. They just been there for me.
And that really just goes to show that a strong support system will really do a lot for you, will
Hmm.
really take you to new levels, will really keep you in the game sometimes when all else fails. So I like that. And something that stood out to me about you is that when I was checking out your bio, actually, I see that you're a self taught seamstress.
Hmm.
So, and I know that that's something that you probably take pride in. So, can you just shed some light on the process of how that, what was it like for Brianna teaching herself how to sew? And then, like, you kind of like the trials and the errors, sometimes probably just messing up, not wanting to do this anymore, but still kind of
Hmm.
pressing on to be where you are today.
Yeah, so like I said, in seventh grade is when I first ever like touched a sewing machine. After that, I never touched one again. And so once I did get my sewing machine back in March, literally I would just, like I said, binge watch YouTube videos. Like watch, I would sit like in my bed all day or at my desk all day. Like even if I'm just waiting in line for something, just watch YouTube videos. Like just, try to learn like, okay, this is straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. Like if they would say that in the video, I would go to Google, like, what's a straight stitch? What's a zigzag stitch? Like, stuff like that. And just kind of familiarize myself with how to sew. Like there's certain rules. Like if I'm right side to right side, I always sew right side to right side. That probably sounds like gibberish, but stuff like that, like little things like that. And there has been times where I've messed up a project and literally was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing this for the rest of the day. Like, I need to go lay down and watch TV. I need to go do something because I'm frustrated. There's been times where I've been like crying. Like it's very frustrating, especially when you have this idea in your head and you're so excited to get it out and then it just does not come out how you pictured it whatsoever, or like my designs don't look anything like my sketches. It's very frustrating. But that's the thing about teaching yourself things. You're going to have those frustrating moments. You're going to have those moments where you just don't know what to do. But it's important for me that I didn't give up because, this was something that I really loved and I really wanted to become better at. So I just kept pushing myself, kept watching videos, kept practicing. Always using like old clothes, like always use old clothes. If I didn't wear them anymore, oh, well, what can I do with this? Cut it up and do something with it. Keep my scraps from previous fabrics and practice my stitching so that I am sewing straight and I am sewing flat, making sure that I familiarize myself with the machine. Now I've been sewing so much, like if I'm sewing a fabric and it sounds like kind of different, I know like, okay, I need to make the stitch length wider or I need to make it smaller or I need to change the needle, like, or the thread tension. Like it's that constant practice, that constant working with the machine. Like it's just now I just know like all the different sounds. I know I wouldn't say everything about it, but I know a lot more than what I did before. And a lot of this, like I said, came from like YouTube, Google, all that stuff. Just self-educating, using any resource necessary, following, other seamstress that post stuff on YouTube, just kind of educated myself in that way.
It's crazy as a business owner, just like all the things that you know that go into it, or all the things that as you become one, you learn.
Hmm.
That you have to provide for it to keep it going, to really elevate, to get it to where you want to be. But it's amazing when you hear about it from the intricacies of the sewing perspective.
Hmm.
Just like you said, just talking about some of the stitches and some of the stuff that I'm over here just learning myself. Like you said,
Hmm.
at first did sound like gibberish, kind of still does a little bit, but piece by piece and just learning and just hearing about what you're saying is just like, wow, it's really a lot that goes into it. It's really a lot
Hmm.
to still learn. It's really a lot to still do from it. And it's just like the fact that you said you kind of have that trial and error, but it kind of makes you appreciate things a little bit more. It
Right.
kind of, it's all just a journey, and it's all just easier when you're willing to open your mind, willing to learn, willing to take that constructive criticism, willing to accept the fact that there are people out there who know more than you,
Hmm.
people out there who do different things, have different perspectives. I think that that's really important when it comes to being a business owner. So, what's something that you say you want to do, like maybe like a piece that you want to create, or maybe like a fabric that you want to use, or something that you want to bring to your business that you haven't done just yet?
So, like I said, I mostly focus on like loungewear and cozy sets with my business. I do want to get into more like things that you wear outside. Like not necessarily outside, but more like streetwear things. I want to work with denim in particular more often. I know my brother actually is sending me some denim pants. He wants me to like distress for him and like do some patchwork on and paint on. So that's going to be like my first real denim project. I really do like working with denim. I have this jacket actually that I'm working on. I've just been staring at it, just trying to get like my ideas put out there. I wanted to depict my ideas accurately. And so just yeah, I would say denim. Distressing, patchwork, painting on it. Definitely that. That's something I really want to get better at. Denim's a little harder to work with because it is so thick. So that's definitely a learning process. Hopefully my machine can even, sew with denim. I think it will, but I would just have to go slower. Otherwise, like if you go too fast on thick fabrics, it'll break the needle. So definitely learn how to, work with denim in my sewing machine for sure.
Definitely a lot to bring. Definitely a lot of expansion. Good ideas that you have. Good skill sets that you want to pick up.
Hmm.
Now, has sewing, has kind of starting your own business, has this changed your approach to fashion? Has this changed things that you now when you're shopping online even if you're shopping in stores, has this changed things that you will or will not buy?
Oh, definitely. Before, well, I've always been like a pretty fashionable person. I've always been into fashion. Like I've always loved clothes. I've always loved staying on trend. But now I feel like that I have a business, like I really have to be on top of it. Like I want people to have like the newest looks. I want them to look the flyest. I want them to look the best. I want people when they walking down the street be like, "Ooh, girl, that's a cute top," or like something like that. I want people to really, I want them to stand out with some of the stuff that I made. So I definitely do have to stay on top of like the trends and what's going on and like what people are wearing nowadays so that I can also incorporate that into my business. So, that's more clientele for me and that's happy customers. They are up to date with like the newest trends and stuff like that. So I would say it definitely has. I would say, broadened my style a lot more because obviously everybody isn't going to be into everything that I'm into. So having to look at different styles, the things that normally I wouldn't wear, but having to look at those different styles and appreciating what they offer and how I can use that with my business as well. So definitely my style has definitely broadened. Always looking to do new looks, always looking to expand so that everybody, when they come to my page, at least they can find at least one thing that they like and go from there.
Okay, I definitely like the sound of that. And yeah, it's always good just to have that. I think I even said it in my last response. It's always good just to have that open mind,
Mhm.
just always to be willing to expand, just to accept new perspectives, just hear new ideas and learn from that. Okay, so what's something that you would say out there that the average person, probably even myself, may not know about sewing that through your experiences, through your ownership of this business, you've come to learn?
Definitely, I think I mentioned this before, but like it's very time consuming. Like when I first started, like I said, that first set I made from that blanket I had mentioned earlier, it took me maybe maybe from like 10 a.m. to like 10 p.m. And it's not even anything difficult to make. I think I stopped like to eat and like that's it. And then I just kept working on it all day. But now, like if I were to make that set now, it'll probably take less than half the time. So definitely it still takes a while. Maybe I'm not sure, maybe like 2 hours or so, but it definitely still does. It's very time consuming. And when you are in school and you are doing like these extracurricular activities and when you are volunteering and when, you have a lot on your plate, it's kind of hard to find those times in your day where you can just sit still and do nothing for like 2, 3, 4 hours. Like a lot of the time, especially as college students, we're always having so much like so many things on our plate that it's hard to just have those times where you can just relax and chill. And for me, my relax and chill time has turned into sewing time. So whenever I do have time to, chill or anything like that, I'll go ahead and hop on my machine because I probably won't have time like this in a while. So definitely the time consuming, watching YouTube videos, everything's so sped up, everything's so quick. I was like, when I first started, I was so naive. I was like, oh, I could make this in like an hour, like 30 minutes. This ain't gonna take long. No, it took all day. And it was very frustrating and it was very confusing. Making clothes is very hard, trying to put all the shapes together, making sure that it fits, making sure you have the right fabric that stretches, stuff like that. That's another thing, fabric. Fabric is expensive and it's hard to find good fabric. Fabric is very expensive. And good fabric that, is comfortable to wear, that's not itchy, that has some stretch to it, that is breathable, is even more expensive. So definitely fabric, time consuming, measuring. There's just so much I didn't know that I do know now. And that's all through experience and trial and error. So I'm grateful for those experiences. But I was very naive at first. Very.
It's crazy to hear sometimes how you can just have that eye opening experience, how you can come in thinking one
Hmm.
thing and completely have your mindset, completely have your opinion transformed about something. But it then, like you said, and kind of in your answer, it definitely shows that it made you appreciate it more. It made you
Hmm.
love it. It made you want to learn more about it and kind of continue to grow from it. So, with growing in mind, with thinking about what you're doing now and how you look to move forward with your business, is this something where you really look to keep it in house, kind of do you, or is this something where you're looking maybe moving forward to partner with other people, whether it be other
Hmm.
seamsters? And I'm not gonna lie, full transparency, while you were talking your last answer, I googled the male version of seamstress because I really had no idea they were called
Yeah.
seamstress, so I just learned something. So you taught me something while we were on this. But moving forward, is this something where you're kind of looking to do other partnerships, even kind of thinking about your boutique that you're in the process of starting as
Hmm.
well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely always that's always on my mind. And once I get myself like stable and have like some consistency going and just being able to really be the best that I am, I definitely want to partner with others because, it's all with other people comes different perspectives and I can always learn from somebody else. Like there's so many people that I would love to go ahead and like, talk to, even if we don't do any collabs or anything, just to talk to, just to see what their experience is about, just to see, get some advice on how they're doing things, stuff like that, because I just feel like it's so important, to get those different insights. So definitely, I definitely look forward to doing that. I also eventually do want to get into making men's clothes. I'm not like up to par with men's fashion, so that's something I'm definitely going to have to brush up on. So, I definitely do want to partner with other people because I do feel like it'll not only aid me but aid them as well, different perspectives just to see. And also it'd be nice to talk to somebody who loves the same thing like as much as me. Like we both love soy. We can talk all day about it. Like the trials and errors, the good times, the bad times. Like, just have those fun conversations about, the things that we're doing in common.
See, I wasn't going to say anything about the men's clothes just because, I didn't want to take the shine away from the ladies. I love what you're doing. I love the pieces you've been making and everything. But look, fellas, all right, y'all heard it here. Look, eventually she's trying to move forward. I definitely noted it. So y'all noted. Y'all noted on this episode and everything like that. And if not, we got to make sure we do some follow ups with her. So, no, but it's definitely good to hear that. I do like that. And I do wish you the best of luck with all of that moving forward.
Thank
And I
you.
definitely think that it'll be something it'll just come with the trial and error. But like you said, like you even have shown in this interview, it's really something that you've come to learn, you've come to understand, you've come to even appreciate it. And with sewing, that look, it's never going to be easy. It's a constant ever
Hmm.
learning process, and that's really just how it goes. So I like that. And I'm even in thinking about your answer just now, it kind of made me think of another follow-up question. So you said that there were so many people who you would just like to talk to, just to get insight from, just to get advice from, just to see how they were doing things. So if presented with the opportunity to do so, who is one of those people that you would kind of go to, who you would just love to have a one-on-one with? You can kind of just pick their brain about anything.
Just one. Okay. I'm gonna do top three because one, I don't know. I would say Kumani. She's a black seamstress, a black woman seamstress. I love her. Like she was one of the people where I was like binge watching her videos because she is really the bomb. Like when I tell you her designs are like A1, they are A1. And she recently launched an online boutique too. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And that's what I was thinking about doing. And so, I definitely had to purchase some things from her. Paige Lene, I love her too. She went viral on Twitter. And that's actually why I was like, this is dope. Like, her work is dope. So I definitely went on her page and was like looking at her work. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I've been following her journey ever since. Who else? Mo Styles, I love her. She actually, when I was first doing my stack leggings, I learned it from her because the way I was doing it at first wasn't really, it wasn't very time efficient. So the way I learned from her, she really helped me. So definitely those three. I would love to just talk to them and, talk about their journey. Like they started like with the sewing machine, some fabric on the floor, just like me from their videos, cutting on the floor, stuff like that. House looking crazy from thread and everything else. And they started just like me and they're doing so well. And it's just so inspiring to see people doing what I did and growing to be as big as they are. So I would love to talk to them and ask them about their journey and how they've been navigating through everything because it really is just such an inspiration. So yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't pick one, but those three, definitely those three.
Please don't apologize at all. I was actually about to say I love how you kind of flipped that question up on me, just because I'm sure even limiting yourself to three was hard
Yeah.
enough. I'm sure you could go top five, top 10, just because it's not only amazing just to hear about those three that you listed, but it's just amazing just to know that there are so many people out there, so many dope, so many talented individuals
hmm
out there just doing great things for their communities, for the community, for the world, international, and both here just the same. So I love to hear that. So is there anything out there that you feel like people should know about you, about your business, about just plans that you have moving forward, about just things that you've done so far that you feel like we haven't touched on in this interview?
Definitely. Well, I would say, being a first generation college student, kind of navigating through life itself, like being raised by a single father and then being able to come to college, like, with coming in straight A's, like good grades, bio major, getting as far as I am, and having, like, a dad who is a business owner himself. He actually, one story he had told me that really stuck with me, that even made me want to do this business in the first place, is that, so when we were younger, well, when I was younger, like I said, I was raised by a single father. So I was always piggybacking off of him. Wherever he went, I went. Like, I'm such a daddy's girl. And he was working for this man for this dump truck company. And basically, he was saying, like, the man didn't really speak good English or anything like that. So my dad was constantly doing all his paperwork for him, basically his right hand guy, doing his paperwork, organizing everything, stuff like that. And now the man my dad used to work for owns like a multi-million-dollar dump truck company. And it really was because my dad was there helping him every step of the way. And my dad told me, like, ever since that happened, ever since he quit, he was thinking, like, I put in all this work, I did all this to make somebody else rich. Like, I needed to do it for myself. And so he started his own moving company called Top Notch Movers. And now he has his own little business going. And that really inspired me because at first, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know if I wanted to start a business. But my dad was kind of like talking to me and explaining to me why I should. And the more we talked, the more I started to realize, like, this makes sense. Like, why I'm putting all this money into somebody else's company, to somebody else's, dream, putting all my time, all my energy, all my efforts into somebody else, when I could just do that for myself. And so, it's something that was kind of like I said, I wasn't sure, but it's something that I really am proud that I did because I feel better. I feel better selling my stuff, getting people to buy my stuff, putting my ideas out there rather than doing that for somebody else. So that's something that really stuck with me, and something that I want to let everybody know, like, you can do it. You don't have to sit here and work a job you don't want to be at. If you have a passion, if you have a hobby, something, you can turn that and flip that into something that you really want to do for yourself. Make your own money, be your own boss. I think that's such an important concept now that I've started my business. Like, and it's okay to feel down and feel stressed out, but you always want to be your own boss. And I feel like, my upbringing, coming from nothing to even going to college, like, I almost didn't even finish college because after my first semester, we didn't even know how we were going to pay for the second semester. Like, my dad really busted his butt to start his business to help me even get to where I am today. So, like, the journey is never going to be easy. I've struggled a lot to get to where I am today, but I'm here and I'm just so grateful and I'm just so proud to be here. So definitely just believe in yourself and do something that makes you happy. You don't have to be somewhere that you don't want to be. So, yeah.
So many gems right there. So many, so many, so many gems right there. I love it. And I really love to hear just such the role that your father played in your life, such the influential role he
Yeah.
played in your life, just such the influence, such the inspiration that he was able to have on you, to, like you said, not even knowing at first if you wanted to become a business owner, if this is something that was for you, if this is just a lane that you kind of wanted to steer in. But then, and like you said, just having that open mind, hearing that perspective, and y'all continuous conversations about it, and now eventually look at y'all. And then now look, I got to bring top notch movers on the podcast now and have them going. So I definitely do love to hear that too. And I definitely wish you both the best of luck with
Thank
everything. And it
you.
was interesting just to hear about that message, but interesting just to hear about that realization that he had, just how he kind of went, he had his ideas, he had his mindset, he played his role for another man, for another
Mhm.
person to put money in their pockets. And then he realized, look,
Mhm.
BYOB,
Yeah.
be your own boss. So look, and now that I can do that myself, look, the sky's the limit. So I love that, man. I love that. I really just want to thank you for taking the time to come on here today and really just give the people some value, really just tell them about what you do. And as excited as you were that I reached out to you, I was excited to do it. I was excited to see what you're doing, and I'm excited to see moving forward everything that's in
Hmm.
store. So just before we wrap things up, could you just give everybody your information as far as like where to find you, social media handles, website, anything
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. So right now, my business page is at the Sew Doctor underscore. So at THESEWDOCTOR underscore. I don't have a website that's coming soon. So stay tuned for that. It'll definitely be announced on my page. So please be on the lookout for that. Also, my personal Instagram is at BR4I. So BRIIIIONNA underscore. I also post things on there too, mostly shouting out my business and other businesses as well. Also shout out other businesses on my business page. So definitely keep out for mine and other aspiring small black businesses. Definitely look out for that.
Okay, got it. And I'll make sure to include all of that information in the bio as well. So once again, Brionna, I just want to thank you so much for coming on here on behalf of Sue Doctor and really just telling us everything that you do, everything that you've been through, and really just to hear your journey. And like I said previously, I really just want to wish you the best of luck. I can't stress that enough. And if there's any way that we can help you or support you, and just for everybody out there listening, definitely get in contact with her. Definitely just see some of the
Hmm.
work she's doing. And even if you can throw anybody her way, definitely do that. So to everybody out there, as always, I want to continuously thank you all for the support. Thank you all for continuously tapping in, sending me feedback, sending me suggestions, sending me love. It's always appreciated. And this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.